Hello, my name is Dr. Sherry Harper Woods, and I'm assistant professor at Youngstown State University. I'm also the co-author of the chapter Literacy and Loss, Examining Loss and Grief Through Characterization in The Boy in the Black Suit by Jason Reynolds.
And I'm Terry Benton, retired assistant professor of English and World Languages at Youngstown State University.
The chapter includes pre and during reading activities on social and emotional literacy for students related to loss and grief. We'll begin our time today by doing one of those activities. When you're ready, I invite you to take a comfortable seat and begin to breathe. Take a deep breath in through your nose as though you were smelling your favorite fragrance, and exhale through your mouth as though you were blowing out a candle. Let's try that together. Inhale and exhale. Now consider the word loss. What do you think of when you hear loss? What sensations arise within your body? Do you notice any sense of unease or discomfort? Perhaps you see an image of a specific place or a person or a thing. Now shift your awareness to your feelings. What feelings surface? Sadness or grief or fear? Lastly, consider any thoughts that may arise. And when you're ready, take another deep breath and exhale, letting go of any sensations or images or feelings or thoughts and being present in this moment. As you considered loss, you may have been able to drift back to a specific time or place and then come back present to this moment. But there's no escaping loss. Loss is an equal opportunist. No matter who you are, you can't hide. It will find you. Perhaps as you were experiencing the exercise, which is included in our chapter called the loss list, you may have considered a material loss, the loss of a home or a purse or a wallet or your keys, the role loss of a role as a mother, a child, a teacher, a student. You may have even considered a relationship loss, the loss of a friendship or a partnership, or the loss of a marriage. Maybe you considered the loss of a function that often occurs with a chronic or a physical illness. Maybe you considered an inner psychic loss, which is the loss of hope, motivation, or dreams. This activity is an example. The loss list is just one of the many activities featured within our chapter, where we integrate activities that look at mental health and literature.
Our chapter focuses on the mental health concepts of loss and grief and the literature concepts of characters and characterization. The Boy in the Black Suit by Jason Reynolds is the story of 17-year-old Matt Miller, who is grieving the loss of his mother, Daisy, who has recently died of breast cancer. Early in the story, Matt feels disconnected from his friends and acquaintances who avoid him at school because they don't know what to say to him. The first time Matt's best friend, Chris, speaks with him after his mother's death, Matt thinks, but at least he, that is Chris, had enough heart to come up to me and say something instead of just avoiding me, like death was some kind of disease that anyone could catch just by speaking to me. Matt's father, Jackson, is having difficulty coping with the death of his wife and begins to drink heavily to the point where he is unable to function as a responsible adult. Mr. Willie Ray, a friend of Matt's parents who owns a funeral home, offers Matt a job and later becomes a mentor and support for Matt. Matt is hesitant about working at the funeral home, but he's surprised to learn that he likes attending funerals because he feels a kinship with mourners who are also grieving, thus feeling less alone. He begins to wear a black suit to work to make it easier for him to sit in on strangers' funerals. Matt formally meets his secret crush, Lovey, at her grandmother's funeral. Matt and Lovey support one another through their grief. Matt also gets support from his best friend, Chris, and his boss, Mr. Ray. In another of the activities in the chapter, students create charts to document information about the characters. After reading each chapter, students can pause and then record on their charts what they learned about each character, how the author revealed information about the character, the types of loss the character experiences, any symptoms of grief that are displayed in the chapter, ways the character relates to other characters in the chapter. Students can also examine how each funeral that Matt attends contributes to the growth of Matt's character and his grieving process. Students can benefit from our chapter in several ways. By analyzing, discussing, and writing about the characters in The Boy in the Black Suit, the losses they experience, their symptoms of grief, and how they process the pain of their grief, students can better understand the mental health issues concerning loss and grief.
We thank you for joining our session, and we hope that you enjoy our chapter of Literacy and Loss, examining loss and grief through the characterization of The Boy in the Black Suit by Jason Reynolds.